Hello students, today I discuss with you the how did land reforms in some parts of the country help to improve the socio-economic conditions of marginal and small farmers. Prior to discuss these questions, these were asked in 2021 in third questions and you have to write 150 words. As I discuss these questions, you can go through on our YouTube channel, the Economica IAS, Economica IAS. Any query if you have further, you can contact me on my mobile number 2370 9999237051. And if you like to join our online classes, you can also join these classes by contact this number. Offline also class is also available for the better understanding of total overall Indian economy. As you know, Indian economy is the key of selection. Round about 60% questions in your interview asking from Indian economy. Similarly, pre-mains also have the more importance of Indian economy. That is why I am discuss these questions here. First, I discuss the content of this subject. After then, I will discuss the structure of these questions, answer, and finally, I will summarize this question. First, you go through the questions. How did land reforms? First, you know what is the meaning of land reform and what is the objective of land reforms. I identified separate word. Some parts of the country help to improve the socio-economic conditions. Socio-economic conditions or status of marginal and small farmers of India. This is an actual key point. You know, land reform include three major reform, that is eradication of intermediaries. As you know, in 1947 when we got independent, there were three intermediaries in between state and farmer. These are the intermediaries known as Jamidar, Raitwar and Mehlwar. They are collecting the rents from farmer, maximum output in the form of rent. It was around about 50% of gross crop production to 75%, but giving the state minimum. In that case, what happened? Neither our farmer nor our state were capable to increase the investment in agriculture. Deficiency of fund, and these persons are wasting the funds or output of agriculture in their demonstrations, expenditures, luxuries expenditures that were responsible for underdevelopment of our economy. What is the second major part of this land reform? That is tenancy reform. Tenancy reform include three major reform, that is regulation of rent, protection of tenancy right, and number third was provide the ownership right on land to the tenant. Ownership right to the tenant on land. Point is clear. Consider if our size of rent it was 50 to 75% of gross crop production, reduced up to say 1/5, then definitely it will increase the income of our marginal small farmer and landless farmers. Second point, if the tenancy right protected means our tenants who are cultivating the land of landlords on the basis of rent protected by the state up to say 4 year, 5 year, 10 year, etc., then automatically we can improve their conditions. There is no uncertainty in agriculture, tenancy, agriculture. Third point, if they are providing the ownership right on land, as Government of India passed in 1972 Land Ceiling Act, under it, the landlord permitted to hold up to 15-acre land in irrigated area, 22 to 44-acre land in unirrigated area. According to the productivity of land, presently it is 10 and 20 respectively in irrigated and unirrigated areas. The main purpose of the Government of Land Ceiling Act to create the economic holding, that size of land which can provide a reasonable living standard to our farmers' family. In 1972, Dr. C.H. Hanumantrao predicted if this Land Ceiling Act effectively implemented by the government, then definitely we will acquire 540 lakh acre excess land. If you think that that kinds of policy implemented somewhere we are partially successful, definitely it is protecting the interest of marginal and small farmer. As you know, all those farmer known as marginal whose holding is 0 to 1 hectare and whose holding is more than 1 to less than 10 hectare, less than 10 hectare, more than 1 but less than 10 hectare, known as small farmer. If they are protected in this way, then what happens? Definitely their socio-economic conditions will improve. And third major reform in land reform was, that is land consolidation and cooperative movement As you know, under cooperative movement, our marginal small farmer can collectively cultivate their land. They can get the benefits of credit facilities, input facilities, warehousing facilities, transportation facilities, marketing facilities through the cooperative societies. And you know, this cooperative movement is effectively working. And for the solution of fragmentation and subdivision of land, government introduced the land consolidation program. And as you know, this program successfully completed in J&K, Himachal Pradesh, then Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and now it is in progress in southern region of India. Point is clear. That kinds of knowledge contents you have to know about the land reform. Now your focal area is what? How this land reform improve socio-economic conditions of our marginal small farmer. This should be keep in your mind. Your content is only focused on how the land reform improving socio-economic conditions. Now, how you can write these questions within 150 words and within 7 minutes. Within 7 minutes, 100. You will first divide the questions in 3 parts: introduction, expansion, and then conclusion. Your introduction started with key point. What is the key? During past decade, our marginal and small farmers' socio-economic conditions partially improve after the implementation of land reform policy. Now your question is clear. You are supporting the answer. How will you support? By explaining the different part and analyzing that one. First you analyze eradication of intermediaries. And you will explain eradication of intermediaries. And you will explain that the eradication of intermediaries, how it will better off the marginal. Simply say, if some extent government eliminate all the intermediaries in between 1948 to 1955, last some states like Delhi, West Bengal, Odisha, they were implemented last in 55 Land Eradication Act. First in 1948, that is Odisha. First state was Odisha in 1948, eliminate the intermediaries, and in this way government directly link the state to the farmer. Either they are the marginal or small farmer. Now there is no intermediaries in between them. What happened? Their exploitation is minimum. They are paying less rent. You will discuss in second part, but only here you will explain that after the elimination of intermediaries, direct link of the farmer to the state, their rent size automatically minimize up to negligible level, and in this way their socio-economic conditions are improving. Increasing income, improving their socio-economic conditions, and now these farmers are getting different kinds of facilities provided by the government directly or through cooperative movement. That kinds of benefit now transferred to the farmer. And after then, research and development in agriculture. Agriculture infrastructure development by the government are also better of our agriculture sector, and in this way improve the socio-economic conditions of our. You will explain under this heading, because you know you have to explain 120. Summarize your words in 30 words, or you can say 40 words each. In second point, you will explain tenancy reform. Tenancy, as you know, you have to explain under the tenancy reform, regulation of rent, protection of tenancy right, and ownership right to the tenants on land. These 3 points simultaneously you will elaborate what will be the benefit of the regulation of rent. If size of rent is minimum, income of that marginal small farmer will increase, that will improve the economic conditions, and finally improving economic conditions also improve their social condition. Second, that is what? That is protection of tenancy right. If our tenants are not terminate from the right of cultivation shortly, then the stability in their life, stability of cultivation right automatically improve their what? Economic conditions, and in this way social conditions. And finally, at third point, you will explain how the ownership right, you will give the data sum round about 64 lakh acre land distributed among the 54 lakh beneficiaries till date or till today. It means the marginal small farmer are getting the land, they are improving their economic conditions as well as social conditions. And lastly, you will also explain the some portions of this cooperative movement, that last point of this land reform. Third point, that is cooperative movement and land consolidation. How this policy, how the cooperative movement better of our farmer, and how the land consolidation policy improving the productivity and production of marginal small farmer. And finally, you will conclude that this policy partially successful and improving the conditions of socio-economic conditions of our farmer. Student, that question is very simple, but when it is simple, when you have the right information, right knowledge. If you go through the different institutes, the questions analysis, that is not according to the priority of these questions. Some vague things are written in that one. You have to avoid all that kinds of vague thing. Focus, start writing where the UPSC start the asking question, and stop the writing where UPSC stop the answer. It means somewhere you have to be within time limit, within word limit, according to content, right content explanation step by step. That should be the study. Further any information you can call me 999999 and you can 237051. You can also comment on these questions if you have any query. Thank you, student.